Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for an information update regarding the Calf Canyon and Hermits Peak Fire. My name is Aaron Hulburd. I'm currently assigned as the incident commander here with Southwest Team 4. So we just wanted to take a little opportunity to provide an update, not only on the fire and the status of the incident, but just kind of the plans as we're moving forward. So we've asked a few of our cooperators and partners here to share some information with you today. You're going to hear some updates from 3 of our counties. We have our emergency managers from San Miguel, Mora, and Taos County. They'll be here to share just some contact information, provide some information like if you to see some post-fire effects, flooding, how they can help you out. So we're looking forward to that today. We also have, with that, a process identified here to gather information for how public property or private property, has been impacted. So we want to make sure we're capturing all the work that needs to be done out there, and we have a liaison officer that will just share how we track that information, how we make sure it gets done, and then also if you haven't been able to provide it, how you can provide us that information here in the future to ensure we're getting that work done. Also on the incident, there's it's what we call a BAER team. So that's basically a burned area emergency response team. And they're here to assess the fire severity within the fire. They're taking a look at how they can mitigate some of the potential future impacts, including flooding. So we'll have a good presentation for you there and share lots of information. And then we're going to close out. I know there's been a lot of questions about the area that's been closed, the fire area closure. So we'll have some information of why that is and maybe some future plans on how we're going to start looking at that and maybe being able to make that less impactful for everybody. And then just lots of information to share today, but also want to remind you, if you have any questions, if there's anything that you need, we've got a website where we're sharing our information through the Santa Fe Facebook page. You can always call our fire information line, and then just send us an email if you have questions. So we appreciate you joining. And I hope you enjoy the presentation today. And we're going to start off with an operational update with Shilow Norton. Thank you.
All right, good evening, Shilow Norton Operations. So we'll go ahead and go around the fire's edge here that is uncontained. Right now we're just going to continue to watch that area. We're not going to put folks in there unless needed. We got an IR scheduled for tonight, so hopefully we'll get that in, and we'll look at that and see if any heat shows up. The last one that we did a few days ago did not show any heat in that area, so there was no need to send any folks in there. But we'll keep an eye on that. As for the rest of the fire, we're going to continue to do what we have been. There's not a lot of change in the type of work. Each one of these areas right here in these gray lines have been identified as a division on the map. So as operations, there's a couple of us that oversee the different divisions that are out there, and they'll call in with their needs and their requests. We'll try to get them the resources that they need to accomplish the work that's out there. So there's still a lot of work throughout the whole fire. Most of the stuff on this side of the fire is all private property, so the focus is on the private citizens and identifying that work, and some of that is through the QR codes coming in online from the landowners, and some of it is from just being out there and landowners coming in and visiting the firefighters that are out there working. And then of course, if the firefighters out there see something that needs to be done, they're gonna try to take care of that as well. So with that, that's a main focus for all the private in-holdings, and that goes throughout the whole fire. So any place that there's private in-holdings, that is the priority, is to take care of them and make sure that we get all that wrapped up, which sometimes we end up going back and forth. We think we're done, and then we get calls, we go back, and that's perfectly fine. We're here to assist however we can and just try to get all that work done. On the west side of the fire, a lot of this stuff is more forest. Our focus there is to try to get all of the repair work done so that we can open that up to other visitors. With that, there's some of this stuff that's going up into the wilderness. A lot of the hand line and stuff like that is done, but a lot of dozer line repair is left to do. So we're going to continue to work on that. We'll go over the numbers in just a second, but a lot of work has been done, and we'll continue to work in that probably for the next 3 or 4 weeks if weather doesn't change. So right now the weather allows us to get in there in the mornings, get started, and then a lot of times they'll get ran out for lightning or rain, and then as soon as they can, they'll get back in there. And so far for the last couple of weeks, we've been able to do really good, getting a lot of quality work done for the majority of the days. Up here in this area, there's a series of roads and that were opened up, and a lot of trees were cut along those roads. They put dozer lines in the top along the ridges just because that's a good place to try to catch a fire. And so there was a lot of work put in with several of the last teams to get that in place when this thing was moving towards the north. With that, there's a lot of cleanup. There's a lot of piles of logs decked. All those log decks that are sitting there, we want to get hauled off and out of that area. So the main focus right now is to get that road improved, which should be done by Friday or Saturday. So hopefully we get that road improved by then, and then that'll open up some opportunity to start hauling out some of those logs that have been created. So a lot of those log decks are already in place, but a lot of that stuff has not been skidded out. So there's going to be a lot of skidding and decking and then processing of that wood just to be able to get it off the hill, off of those lines and out of the way. And then at that point, then go in with the dozers, or the excavators, and start water barring and doing the same type of repair work that we've been doing down in this area and throughout the rest of the fire. So with that, I'll go through some of the numbers. Right now for total repair points, which is points that are like fences that have been busted or individual locations that there was something damaged that needs to be repaired. There's 1,400 of those that have been completed at this time. For the hand line, there's been 22 miles completed. Dozer line, 403 miles. Roads that were just used as line, 107 miles. And then the other mixed lines, which is 117, and that can be any kind of mixture of roads, dozers, hand line, just a mixture of stuff. And so the way they mapped them, and that's 117. Any way you slice it, we're over halfway completed. There's a lot of lines that still have to be evaluated, and there's a lot of them still in progress. And then of course there's still several to work on. So that'll be the work for the next several weeks, and we'll continue to do as much as we can each day. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Iric Burden. I'm liaison with Southwest Incident Management Team 4 on the Hermits Peak Calf Canyon incident. Here to talk a little bit about the suppression repair, which you'll find a QR code that pops up at the end that will take you to a fillable form that will ask you about any of the suppression actions that were taken around your place, such as dozer lines, hand lines, that we need to come back in and repair for you. That information will come to us. We will take that information and contact you and come out and meet with you to discuss and get your repairs done. If you are not able to get the QR code, then there's a telephone number at the bottom of the screen. Please call that and we will take your information and then again meet with you and come out and take a look at your repairs that need to happen. Also, we have each county here to talk a little bit about what's going on in their counties, and that's the Taos Emergency Manager, as well as San Miguel Emergency Manager, as well as the Mora Emergency Manager. Thank you and appreciate your time.
Hello, my name is Bobby Lucero. I'm the emergency manager for Taos County. I'm here today to give you some information on some of the process that we do here at Taos County. If you're having an issue with any flooding, you can give us a call, myself or my coordinator. Our contact information is on our Taos County website. You can look up the emergency management page and you can reach out to us from there, and we'll be able to provide you with sandbags. Whether they want to be filled or empty, we can provide those. We are also in the process of keeping our shelters on standby. In the event anybody has any issues, they can contact us and we can get you the shelter set up, and we can get you anything that you need to keep you safe and protected during these flooding incidents that may occur in our area. We also have resources that can provide food for you, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we will provide internet as needed. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dennis Esquibel, the Emergency Manager for San Miguel County in the City of Las Vegas. And I'm here today to talk to you about the post-fire incidents that we may have. We are going to experience some flooding, so if you do have some flooding and you have an emergency, please dial 911 immediately. If it's not an emergency and you need sandbags, contact my office, 505-425-6190, and we'll make arrangements to get those out to you. Also, if you need any assistance in filling out any of the forms, go in and call our office and we'll get someone to assist you. Some of the things that we still have going on, we do have a shelter in place or on standby so that you, if you need to be evacuated, you have a place to go. That shelter is located at 1705, I believe, North Grand, which is the A. Montoya Recreation Center. And we also have a DRC, which is still open at the Memorial Middle School, so at Old Memorial Middle School at 947 Legion. So if you have any questions or anything and haven't registered with FEMA, please do so as soon as possible. And if you have any questions or need some assistance with sandbag placement, clearing some debris from the roadway, or any of the emergency infrastructure that we need to take care of, just give us a call back. Call us at 505-425-6190. And if it's an emergency, please do not hesitate to call 911, and we'll get some help out to you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. David Montoya, Mora County Fire Manager. I'm here to talk to you about what we're doing in post-fire and flooding situations now that we're dealing with. We have teams from Army Corps of Engineers, National Guard, and DOT helping us with flood mitigation. We have done a lot of infrastructure, taking care of a lot of infrastructure around Mora. Also, since we got our transmitters burned over there for the cell tower communication, we have very poor cell service, so the National Weather Organization has issued some weather radios that we are issuing out at the Sheriff's Office. So if anybody needs a radio, weather communication radio, they send the alert out for any flooding there. So if there's any flooding, you can get the alert. Or if you see anything, you can always dial 911. And we'll be and make sure and evacuate if you're on a flood area or stick to higher ground. Never try to drive on flooded roads because you never know what's underneath that. And if you need sandbags for your houses and stuff, we still have some at the Solid Waste Department. You can call in. The National Guard will take some for you and help you do whatever you need to do up at your place. And also, if you need to call my number, I believe it's on the screen. And also, we have the sheriff's number, which is 387-222, or the county manager, it's 387-5279. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Amina Sena. I am the Burned Area Emergency Response Team Lead for the Hermits Peak Calf Canyon fires. BAER is one of the team members on the post-fiery recovery team, and we couldn't do it without the rest of our public, stakeholders, and everyone else that we're working with. So I just wanted to say that out loud, that we are part of the post-recovery response, but we are just one member of a team, and we're really thankful for all the other folks in this room that are helping us in this post-emergency moment. I wanted to speak to our objective in BAER is to manage unacceptable risks to critical values on national forest lands related to the fire threats. We treat and minimize these risks, but it's important for us to understand that we are not eliminating these risks and that those risks are still there. So I just wanted to say that our duty is to minimize these risks, but we can't think that we don't have these risks still in front of us. Our BAER assessment was thrown into 3 phases. This is a huge fire, and so we had to split the BAER assessments into 3 phases. We went out and we looked at the soil burn severity. We talked about where the soils had become hydrophobic, where flooding response could be intense. We also talked about what does that mean in terms of a post-fire flooding moment, debris flows, etc. And in that assessment, we then identify what are those critical values at risk that we need to get to work on. And I'll tell you, the BAER team has been working. We've been getting a lot of good work done. In Hermits Peak Phase 1, we've already storm-proofed a lot of our roads. That means that we're clearing ditches and cleaning out culverts. So when that big storm comes, it doesn't clog a culvert and blow out a section of road, and now we have no ability for folks who live up there to access their properties. So we're looking at critical values like our road infrastructure. We're looking at potentially doing some land hillside treatments if possible, get that vegetative cover back on our mountainsides. We also have a lot of activities going on in terms of recreation. All of our facilities that were in that floodplain, we need to pump those toilets and get that empty so that if we see high flows, we're not also seeing water quality impairments go downstream. And the cultural and heritage resource values have been a lot of work too. We're lopping those hazard trees that have the potential to impair the integrity of these sites, and we've got a lot of good work done. We're starting into Phase 2 now, and we've got a lot of that work done as well. We were just out on the Capulin Road by Morphy Lake, storm-proofing it, so that the way the water comes off that road is not impacting the landowners right down, as well as ourselves. So it's really those critical values on National Forest Service land, but hopefully we're helping our neighbors who are down the hill as well. So another big thing that you guys are going to start seeing is signage. We're going to start telling you when you entered the burned area emergency, where you've entered that burn scar, as well as when you are at risk for potential flooding. I've heard around the community that we've seen rain and nothing's happened, so maybe we're fine. But the fact is, it depends on the intensity of that storm. So when we saw rain, for example, over a 5-day period, 4.5 days, that was 5 inches of rain over 4 days, and we didn't see the huge post-fire flooding because that is a long duration and the intensity of that storm was low. Now in Upper Rociada, we saw 2 inches in an hour event. We saw at one point 0.75 inches in 15 minutes. This is the type of storm that will mobilize all the sediment and logs and start rearranging mountains. So I just wanted to say out loud that we don't have this false sense of safety as we see that the Gainas and the Pecos have not quite had that activity. We have seen it in the Sapeo. We have seen that river rise 15 feet and 40 feet across in the Las Tusas area. So we do have areas that are experiencing post-fire flooding in Mora County as well. It really depends on where does that storm cell sit over and how long does it stay there? What is that intensity? So we have area closures in place right now. The idea behind these closures is to protect safety of people and make sure that we don't have people playing in the creeks thinking that it's safe, and then a huge storm comes in and we have post-fire flooding. Sometimes that storm doesn't have to be sitting right over where you're playing in the river, and by the time it's coming, it's not something that you have the ability to get away from at times. So this is the reason for some of our area closures, and it's really important for folks to abide by those closures and see them as important as well. This is for your life and safety, and we're mitigating this post-fire flooding situation. Really, I'd like to just end with the BAER team is working. We've been working for a month now, and we have a lot of work in front of us. And it's time to roll up our sleeves and engage all of our partners in this room and get that good work done. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Lujan, and I'm the District Ranger on the Camino Ranger District of the Carson National Forest. And today I just wanted to take a couple of minutes just to provide some information on access to traditional uses on the Carson and Santa Fe National Forests. By traditional uses, I think of access for firewood, access for livestock grazing, access for maintenance to acequias, hunting, fishing, camping, and other types of recreation. We know that over the past several months, these activities have been impacted quite a bit. The reason for those impacts have, of course, been about safety and how, the Forest Service mission is to provide for a safe recreational and access opportunity for our publics, and including our firefighters that are currently still in the process of working on the Calf Canyon Hermits Peak fire. In addition to that, I wanted to emphasize to the public that there's large portions of the Carson and Santa Fe National Forests that are open. These areas will provide a lot of access for the activities that I already mentioned. In addition to that, as the fire team continues with repair, the BAER team continues with rehab, and time allows for recovery of the fire, the Forest Service is continuing to evaluate where can we provide more access for traditional uses. If you would like more information about how you can access your national forest on the Carson and Santa Fe National Forest, you can reach out to your ranger districts on Camino Real, Pecos, or Las Vegas. And you can also check out the Santa Fe and the Carson websites for more information on fieldwood areas and recreation availability. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate everybody's attention to all the information that was provided today, and hopefully that'll help you with understanding the current status of the Calf Canyon Hermits Peak fire, and also how you can continue to gain access to your national forest. Thank you.